Some say on Halloween night, if you go past 7 black gates, you will see the 7 gates of hell. I thought it was a myth at first until I tried it out. I went past 7 black gates around my neighborhood, and then when I went to sleep, my dreams were a furious fire, and it stopped. And there was a man, tall and bulky. His eyes were rather squinted, showing his age, and his legs and hands were thin and looked as if they were barely supporting his weight. He spoke with a scratchy, dying tone, saying, "Almaklu ot snev sateg vole." Chuckling, he opened the gate. My whole body became numb, and I was unable to fight it as if it moved on its own. Struggling did not work. Without any control of myself, I went through the first gate. The first gate, I saw fire and corpses that were horribly mutilated, desecrated, and burnt. They were sobbing so loudly that I couldn't even hear the cracklings of the fire. One came to me, with one eye and bullet holes all over him. He said, "We are the desecrated corpse who did not get the proper burial. We are to stay here till the judgment day." I went past him and to the second gate. It was in a building. The second gate. I was in a dungeon. There were people tied up, screaming in pain. One was sawing in half very slowly, his body repeatedly healing, ready to be sawed again. One was in an Iron Maiden, with the door being opened and closed, but never caused any visible harm. A man in an executor mask said to me, "We are the tortured torturers by our own devices." I went past him to the next, towards the third gate. The third gate. This time, I was in a forest. It was silent except for a few yells. There was a man hanging from a noose. Another man fell off a cliff, reappearing and fell off again. I began running away from a horrible burnt woman chasing after me. I already knew what this one was. These were the people who committed suicide. I ran through the fourth gate, which was a palace. The fourth gate. Suddenly, I was in a place surrounded by emperors, politicians, and really wealthy people. And an emperor was being gnawed on by lions. When the lions ripped a limb off and slashed him, the appendages grew back and the injuries healed. A politician was being beaten by what looks like a shadows in prisoner's clothes. A man in a suit came to me and said, "We are the corrupted people. The people who used our power to help ourselves, none others." I walked to the next gate, the fifth gate. The fifth gate, I was in another room. There was a man tied up on the bed, being lashed by floating spiky leather whips, a woman being burnt by a lighter, but her screams and cries were muffled by a cloth that was used as a gag. A rather large man came up to me and said, "We are the violators and the molesters, paying for our crimes on earth." I ran to the sixth gate. The sixth gate, I was in another room. A man and a woman were being stabbed, their wounds healing almost immediately just like everyone else. Another person was being buried alive, and someone else was being hit and jabbed with a floating metal bar. I knew who those people were. Murderers, being harmed the way they killed their victims. The exit was the seventh gate. The final one. This nightmare is almost over. It's almost over, I said to myself. The seventh gate, I was outside. There was a man wearing a shroud over his head coated with explosives. He blew up, regenerating and blew up again. Another one was being beaten, stabbed by sharp metal objects, and burnt by torches, lighters, and matches. They were held by people who looked like shadows. One of them came to me and said, "They are the mass murderers, the terrorists, the bomber. I am a shadow of one of their victims, beating them to take revenge for killing us on Earth. I ran to the exit. When I woke up in the morning, I became horribly scared. The images of what I saw ran through my head. In fact, that was all I could think about for the whole year. It became Halloween again, and I didn't dare go outside at night. I just went to bed. It took me a while to sleep, and when I did, I was in front of the first gate of hell. There was a teenager like me staring at me. He was shocked to see me. My body became numb, and I could not control myself again. I said to him in a scratchy, dying tone, "Imsko and navesetka vole." I chuckled and opened the gate for him. After he went inside with an expression that looked like he was fighting something and struggling, I looked at myself in a reflection of a goblet filled with what looked like blood. I saw the gatekeeper. I became the gatekeeper. In fact, I